Hello, and welcome to our webinar on how to set up Sage 50 Accounting, the US edition, in order to track COVID type payroll during the COVID crisis. My name is Peter Lundberg. I work for Accounting Business Solutions by JCS. Have been doing so since 1993. And I am a certified master Sage 50 consultant and trainer. So let's just go over to Sage 50 and take a look at what we need to do to begin tracking our payroll so we can break it out into COVID-19 type pay for reporting. This can be used in many ways for applying to government grants or loans. Since they're all different, they may have different requirements. So you may need to set it up slightly differently depending on the grants or loan processes you're going to apply to. The first step, however, no matter what you do, if you want to break things out so that you know what was paid specifically for COVID work for your essential employees, is that we need to go in and first create pay settings that we can track this under. So if we go to payroll setup and then payroll settings, in this section we can find company information, which has another section called pay types. You can see this pay types is broken up hourly and salary. You should know this already if you're using Sage 50. I've already set up a regular type of pay for COVID. But I also want to set up COVID overtime, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. You'll notice that my standard pay is tracked in an account called wages, and I've set up a different account number for COVID-19 pay so that I can see this on my P&L statement. That may or may not be necessary depending on what you're trying to report on. But I'm going to go ahead and do that and mark my COVID overtime to the same account. COVID salaries are set up similarly. I set up a salaried area with a salary account for my general ledger. Salaried people, we can track a couple different ways. Sometimes for essential workers, you're giving them bonuses for their COVID work or not. You can add the bonuses to the regular salary, or you can set up something like COVID bonus, and then you can keep their regular salary rates in the COVID salary for their working during this time, and put any bonuses into this additional pay area for their bonus. Once you have this set up, then we can get applying it to employees. Oops, I forgot we can't use dashes. And again, dashes are not allowed. So I had underscores on the other ones. Anyway, now we can start setting up employees. You can see that I already have a pay rate for COVID regular. I'm going to go ahead and put in my pay rate for COVID overtime. Now this particular employee is biweekly, is set to do 60 hours during that process. Maybe you're going to have that same 60 hours. However, the way this is set up, you still have regular time rates, so these standard hours always apply to the first one in this list. So if you wanted to automatically go to the COVID rate, we would clear out these other rates. I'm on this employee going to leave that here So you can see how that works. I have some other employees already set up with those rates cleared out, so you can see what that looks like. So let's go ahead and save this and move on to the next employee. This employee again has a COVID regular time, but not an overtime. This one I don't have any COVID rate set up because this person I'm going to put on furlough. Now we can also track furloughs for our COVID employees. The first step would be to go in to customize our employment statuses. And you can see I've added a COVID furlough employment status so I can track this information. So I'm going to change this person to be on furlough. We can put in a furlough date. I would put it here in the termination date, even though he's not terminated, he's on furlough. But it's your choice whether you want to put that rate in or not. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And because this person is going to be on furlough and I don't want him to come up on payroll, I'm going to go ahead and mark him as inactive as well. So let's go ahead and move on. Here we have a salaried employee. He's got his standard salary. We're going to go ahead and move that down. I'm going to take it out of here and put it down in the COVID salary. Now we could leave it in here and have both showing up, but we need to be very careful because if you have both showing up, their standard weekly pay rate is going to be doubled. Probably not. So I'm going to leave that alone. If we wanted to give this person a bonus for working as a essential employee, we could go ahead and put that bonus in here. I'm not going to do that for this employee at this time. And here's another employee. We can go ahead and do the same thing. This employee, I am going to give a bonus. He has to deal with people all the time, so I'm going to put a $200 a week bonus for COVID for this particular employee and go ahead and save this person. Now I've got a lot of different employees in here. This is a sample company, so you're not seeing anything proprietary by looking at these employee lists. They don't exist. And I'm not going to fill in the rest of the employees because I don't need that for my example. So I'm going to go ahead and see what it looks like to pay employees. So I'm going to go in and pay multiple employees. This particular pay cycle ends on the 29th. It's going to contain both weekly and semi-weekly, but I'm not going to pay all the employees. I'm going to go and only pull in the employees that I have set up for COVID play, which is A through D. Okay, all of my employees are coming up. This person, standard hours, works 80 hours. I'm going to take that out and put that in the COVID area. This one I had set up not to have any standard hours, so I can type in what I want to for COVID hours. Again, here we have 80 hours regular, 80 hours regular, 80 hours regular. You notice that a lot of these employees don't have the overtime. That's because we didn't go back and set up overtime rates for these people. Don't have to work the full 40 hours. Here's my COVID salary employee that is set up with an extra bonus. Here's a COVID salary employee that is not set up with bonus amount. There's an employee that I have set up where I zeroed out the default amount so I can put in whatever I want, where I want it. Here's that first employee we looked at. He had 60 hours. We had a regular rate, so that 60 hours is still showing there. Go ahead and move that down to COVID hours. This person actually works some overtime, so I'm going to fill that in. Here's a COVID salary that got filled in automatically, a COVID salary and bonus. Again, this is the one we saw when we were setting things up. So I'm going to go ahead and pay these people. Normally I would go up and do a report to confirm my settings, make sure that I did everything the way that I thought I was, didn't leave any extra regular time hours in here. I'm not going to do that because I can't put it to the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and just print the checks. Next check number, I'm going to send it to a file. At this point, it's just a sample. And I'm going to go say yes, checks are okay. Oh, it's going to make me save the file or something. Here's, nope, can't do that. And I'm going to confirm the checks. So now we've got these people paid, we might need to have reports. A report that has that information on it as it comes out of the box is the payroll register. I'm going to go ahead and look at the payroll register. I'm going to choose options so I can make some changes here because I did not pay any COVID pay before the 22nd. So I'm going to just highlight the 22nd through the 31st. So here we have a person that was paid on the 22nd. There's another person paid on the 22nd. Here is a person, that same person, that paid on the 29th. You'll notice that all of our COVID pay types are marked as COVID. To get this on other reports, however, we're going to make some adjustments. So let's go to another report that we might be able to see that on, and that is any of the ones that are marked earnings report, current earnings report, quarterly earnings report, or yearly earnings reports. We can get those pay types onto the report. They don't exist there as it is. Let's go ahead and range that again. And this is the standard report, it has information about our amount, our net amount and our gross amount and all of the deductions that we have, but we don't have anything about what pay types are involved. So let's go ahead and add that in there. And I'm going to do that through the columns tab. And if I scroll down, I can see that I have an information about pay types. So I'm going to go ahead and add that on the report. So it adds it to the right because that's just where I had it. We can clean this report up as all we're going to be looking at is the pay types and amounts by going through and removing some of these other things. I don't need the Social Security number, or I want the transaction date and the amount. I don't want all of those deduction fields. I'm going to move this up before the net pay. And now we can see here's my reference number, the date, here's the type of pay, and the gross and net. So here's the reports that you want. If you want to filter this, so all you're seeing is the pay types rather than all of these totals, we would send this to Excel. It always takes a minute to get there. And once we have it to Excel, we can add filters. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right away by going to the data. We're going to add filters. And the first step is to clear out all of these totals and blanks, because all I really want is the ones that have information about my COVID pay. So I'm going to go ahead and filter out and just look at all of those things I want to get rid of. All the summary fields and total fields, and I'm going to select all of those in a row and go ahead and delete them, turn off my filters, or turn back on everything, and now we have all of our COVID information. going down the list. So we've got hours worked, we've got amounts of pay, as well as net check amounts that we can view. We can sort and select this in any way that we want to in Excel. So that's it for today. I hope that it was informative. And please keep social distancing in mind so that you can stay healthy. Thank you.